to the Aboriginal channel. On this episode, we're going to be showing Deontay Wilder a little bit about who he is and where he's from. In order to do that, we're going to go off of where he was born and how tall he is. The average height in the United States for a so-called African American is 5'9" for a male. Deontay Wilder is 6'7", damn near a foot taller than the average. I'm putting emphasis on his height because it's going to come into play and show him where he's from, basically. That the people originally from where he was born at was that tall. We're going to go over here to a book written in 1850 called The History of Alabama, and incidentally that of Georgia and Mississippi from the earliest period by Albert J. Pickett. So it's during the time in the 1500s when DeSoto was going through Alabama. It says the next day, advancing within 6 miles of the temporary residence of Tuscaloosa, a halt was made in the woods. It says Tuscaloosa was 40 years of age, of great stature, with immense limbs. He was spare around the waist, and his whole form was admirably proportioned. His countenance was grave and severe. After King Tuscaloosa and DeSoto became acquainted, they were about to march on to the next town. So it says right here that an officer was sent among the horses to find one large enough to sustain the giant Indian. A large pack horse, the property of the governor, was selected. It says the chieftain, who was a head taller than any of his attendants, mounted upon his horse, with his feet nearly trailing on the ground. On a side note, I want to point out that it says the Indians of Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi were so similar in form, mode of living, and general habits in the time of DeSoto and of others who succeeded him in penetrating these wilds that they will all be treated on the pages of this chapter as one people. Now we're going to go into the section of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where Deontay Wilder is from, and what Indians were there, and basically how they look the same as Deontay Wilder. It says the Choctaws and Chickasaws descended from a people called the Chickamaugas, who were among the first inhabitants of the Mexican Empire. So that's royalty in Mississippi and Alabama right there. And it goes on to talk about how they left there and made their way to Mississippi and southwestern Alabama. Now it says these people were more slender in their forms than other tribes. The men were raw-boned and astonishingly active. None could excel them in the ball play or run as fast upon level ground. Both sexes were well made, and the features of the females were lively and agreeable. Well, I just had to point this out since the brother thinks he's an African. Don't know his rich historical value being a big dark-skinned brother 6'7" from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But this is who you come from. The Choctaw people that were raw-boned and astonishingly active, that none could excel them in the ball play or run as fast upon level ground.
You're going to let a European explorer now give you your identity when he don't know his beginning or yours? So you call yourself an African? You are not an African. You were before there was an Africa. We know what you mean when you say I'm an African. We understand that. But you got to grow up now into a deeper knowledge.
Through the history books, which has all been a lie. So therefore, if it's a lie, then what's the truth? If it's a lie, then what's the truth?